Hey everybody, welcome in. This is going to be just a little quick segment on Chiron, the wounded healer. Chiron this is more of an astrological thing, but Chiron is the wounded healer. It is an asteroid, a comet. Some people call it a dwarf planet. It's just given different classifications. But it's located between Uranus and Saturn. It was discovered in 1977, and it is related to psychological and emotional trauma that we carry with us today. This could have been from a past life. It doesn't necessarily have to have had to occur in this lifetime. But there are innate wounds that are associated with shame, guilt, fear. Herbalism is important outside of Western meditation. That's kind of the heal yourself type of an energy that we can use to kind of help this at times. You feel as though you're awkward in some cases, that you don't fit in. So we're going to talk about what happens in each of the houses. And then with that, I am going to pull a card of maybe advice or encouragement from Spirit and the universe before we dive in. I'm going to do a really in-depth study of Chiron over on Soulflower Holistic Wellness Consulting. I'm going to go through each house and take a deep dive, and then we're going to talk about what the wounded healer looks like for you, if it's in your house, what your specific house is, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do when Chiron is in your first house or your sixth house or whatever house it's in. So it'll be a little bit deeper there. Okay, so just to start with, and I am using my notes, I don't want to forget anything, but this is just going to be a brief overview for you. In the first house, if you have Chiron in your first house, the wound is of self. So that includes your self-image, your self-esteem. Something happened that wounded that area of yourself. Second house is a wound of loss. You feel very insecure. That wound of loss makes you feel like there is no guiding force in your life, that you're kind of totally dangling out there type deal. In your third house, it's the wound of words. Lots of learning difficulties are in this if your Chiron's in your third house. You could have learning disabilities. Somebody could have wounded you with words as a child or in your past life. Chiron in your fourth house is a wound of family. Somehow home life failed you somewhere along the line. Could have been a parent walked out, sense of abandonment, feeling like you don't really have family, that type thing. Chiron in your fifth house is a wound of talent. There's a deep hurt of sexuality, creativity, very hard to suppress your fears in that house. The wound of perfection is in the sixth house. That can play out in the workplace. It can play out at home. It can play out emotionally, mentally, and transfer into the physical. In the seventh house, it is a wound of relationship. So it could be that you don't feel like you can express yourself with others, that you feel kind of stifled, that no one's really listening to you. Okay? Sorry about, I've got Scooter there. He's looking out the window at something. In Scorpio, the wound of control. There was a death or a trauma that's associated with this wound, and this is in the 8th house. Somebody very significant in your life died, and the death was traumatic for you. Again, it does not have to be this lifetime. It can be a past life. In the 9th house, it's a wound of belief, never really feeling like you have roots anywhere, never really feeling like you belong anywhere. In the 9th house, in the 10th house, it's a wound of public image, basically. Somebody told you that your dreams were too big, that you could never achieve that. So those wounds are there. Public image type of a wound. In the 11th house, it is a wound of individual or group, which means that you feel misunderstood. You keep your tribe small. You keep your circle small. Mostly it's with family or people that understand who you are and where you're coming from. So you don't really do good with individuals or even in a group. Very, very isolated for the most part. People find you very alluring and attractive, and they really want to get in with you, but you keep everybody at arm's length, group and individual alike. And then in the 12th house, it is the deepest, darkest, and scariest of the wounds. It is deep-seated. It's actually become a part of your persona. And it's a dark, scary, it's essentially who you are. It's very ancestral. And you look for unconscious levels all the time if you have Chiron in your 12th house. How can I not think about this? How can I not know about this? How can I not feel this? So you're looking for alternative numbers, right? Trying to numb that, because it is it's very prevalent in your life if you have it in the 12th house. All right, so I want to pull 12 cards as promised, just maybe as a little insight. I'll just do one for each house for you. So we'll start off if Chiron is in your first house. If you don't know which house Chiron is in for you, you're going to want to check your natal chart. Okay, check your birth chart, and then I would come back to this video, and then you can see what Spirit is talking about for you. So if you have Chiron in the first house, which is a wound of self, okay, the advice coming from Spirit, the 5 of Wands, is to put that down. Put that down. Don't carry that with you. Don't take it through what you're doing. Do not magnify it. This is a wound of self. Okay, so you are worried about outer appearances, and Spirit is saying stop the struggle. Stop the disturbances that are associated with this. And like I said, we will learn more about some of the things that we can do to heal it. Sound healing is excellent for healing the wounded healer. All right, if you have it in the second house, this is a wound of loss. Lacking security, that type thing. So Spirit is saying, and look at this, that's the card of loss, right? Spirit is saying, get up from there. You are not in a state of loss. You need to kind of appreciate what you have and not think and focus so much on what you don't have. Take the one cup that's full. Don't worry about the ones that are empty right now. Spirit's coming in to tell you to stand up from that. That goes right along with the second house. All right, in the third house, which is the wound of words, 9 of Pentacles, whatever it is you have worked towards, you're going to receive. So when you work on healing this wounded healer, you are going to feel like the Nine of Pentacles. You're going to know that that cycle, even if it was ancestral, is going to come to an end, number 9, and you're going to feel good about yourself once Chiron in your house is healed. In the 4th house, the wound of family, you just have not known which way to turn or which way to go. Once Chiron is healed, those blinders are going to come off. You are not going to feel like you don't know which direction to go in, right? This is family. So something, and most likely it's saying that it happened in a past life. This feeling of loneliness and being alone and not having anyone to tell you or to help you decide which way to go. What do I do next, right? Which is what family is all about. We should be able to turn to our family members and get some advice or get some help if we need it. If it's in your 4th house, you don't feel like you can do that. All right, in the 5th house, this is the wound of talent. And that's what you feel like. This is a very deep hurt. You suppress your fear and you tried to hide your true self. This is a deep hurt, very deep hurt. This could be something that hurt you sexually or creatively as a child or in a past life that you have not recovered from yet. So your creativity and it's a very deep-seated suppressed wound. So you try to hide yourself from everybody else. You can see she's alone here. But look at the spirit flying through up there, coming through, busting through all those crows coming through, letting you know that it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. We're going to heal this wound, and you're going to be able to stand up from that grief, from that hurt, from that anxiety, that deep-seated pain. If you have Chiron in your 6th house, that's the house of perfection. Once that is healed, you will be able to move forward in happiness. You will be able to have the stability that you seek, that you don't feel like you have now. Or maybe you don't feel like you've ever had in your life. You could have been raised in a beautiful home with a beautiful family, but something deep-seated in that wound, right, makes you feel unstable all the time. It could be your workplace. It could be the home. You're not accepting your inner self. But once you've healed Chiron in your 6th house, you will feel stable again. And if we're carrying this through past lives into your current life, it was meant to be healed. Okay, wound in relationship. Okay, this is issues with you feel very stifled. You do not feel like you can express yourself as to who you truly are, which creates a tower moment for you most likely every day of your life if Chiron is in your 7th house, because it is the wound of relationship. Relationships are threaded in everything we do, everywhere we go. It could be the workplace, it could be the family, it could be going to the local grocery store. And this is what you feel. Once you have healed, this tower will be no more, Spirit says. You won't feel like this every day. You feel like you have a tower moment every day of your life if Chiron is in your 7th house. If it's in the 8th house, this is the wound of control. Okay, this is death association. Spiritual death wound, trauma. Look at the devil here. Trauma has occurred. Okay, and I have to say, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, that is the card of Scorpio, right? The devil. And it is scorpionic energy in the Scorpio house, basically, right? So you want control, and you feel like if you control everything, then nothing can hurt you. Control. Look at the puppet strings, right? If you can be the puppet master of everyone and everything around you, then that feels good to you with that wounded healer. That was death association, most likely in a past life. That devil connected. So Spirit is saying that devil will go away. You don't have to be the puppet master once you've healed. You can let go of those strings. You won't feel like you need to control everything. Oh, that was pretty intense. Okay, Chiron in your 9th house, the wound of belief. These cards are actually coming out very, very zodiac associative and essential. This is a Sagittarian card, and Sagittarius is the 9th house, right? So she's moving forward. She is going to move forward. She's going to move out of this state of feeling like she doesn't have a place, she has no roots, feeling like a failure, feeling like she doesn't belong anywhere, and she's going to go find her place once this is healed. She's going to go through those wands, through that fence that's got her fenced in. She's going to come out of that. All right. Chiron in the 10th house is the wound of career, public image, and you've got the King of Cups. Self-esteem, worries, thinking that your dreams are too big is going to be healed. You're going to dream big once you've healed it. You may actually achieve a public image once you've healed Chiron in the 10th house. This is kind of that chill King of Cups who's got all of his emotions under control. He's sitting stable, he's meditating, he's relaxed, he's peaceful, and he does not worry about any turbulent water around him, does he? He's got it. He's in control. Okay, if you have Chiron in your 11th house, this is associated to individuals and group. This healing comes from being misunderstood and being afraid of being misunderstood. You feel like if you're in a group or you're with an individual, that you can't really express yourself because nobody's going to understand what you're talking about anyway. But you will come through this. Okay, this is the wheel. This will come circle for you once you have healed. Okay, and we are going to work on that. We're going to take each house and we're going to break it down as to what's happening, what you're feeling, why you're feeling that way, and then what can we do to make it better. And then finally, in your 12th house, if Chiron is there, this to me is the darkest. And we see the moon card here, right? This is the darkest. This is dark and scary, and it has become a part of who you are. It is part of your psyche. It is part of your persona, how people see you, right? And, you know, you can see the polarities here, right? On either side of the moon, trying to use the intuition deep into water. Okay? And again, Pisces. So Spirit has really come through with these cards of advice, really matching up, as crazy as this sounds, from the 78 cards, right? And I just randomly shuffled and drew just off the top of each one, and many of them match the zodiac sign of the house that they were in. So, very important to heal. And this is usually ancestral. So you will be able to use your intuition to know what to say, who to say it to. You're not going to feel dark. You're not going to feel scary. You're going to come out of it once you've healed Chiron in your 12th house. Okay, guys, I hope this helped. Hope you found it interesting. I'm just kind of starting to take a dive into a lot of astrology. I'm very interested in it, and I feel like it kind of ties all these loose ends up together when we kind of take a dive. So look at your natal chart, find out which house your Chiron is located in. Take a look over at Soulflower Holistic Wellness Consulting if you'd like to see a little bit deeper, in-depth study of this and how to overcome this. We're going to kind of try to heal it through there. One thing that you can do, regardless of which house Chiron is in for you, is sound therapy. So if you want to Google it specifically, go ahead. It has to do with all the energy systems that are in you and how they're going to become balanced. So maybe invite some sound therapy. You know, music in and of itself is healing. So, again, we'll talk more about that. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this quick little segment and card pull. I will see you soon. Take good care. Love and light.